Hello, lovely members and everyone else that's joining us this evening. We have got a fantastic evening for you. We've got the one and only Jack Lodge, who is a fantastic landscape and nature photographer. It's a session called The Changing Season. So Jack's going to be teaching you all about photographing the changing season, even the freezing cold winter that we're in right now. Right, before we do, album of the month, first person gets the bonus point. We've got people from all over the world typing in at the minute. So type in, please, where you are from, so we can have a look at where you're from. There's Raman here from Kansas. There you go. Straight away, someone from the US. We've got David from Northumberland here. Brendan from Cork. Leslie from Teesside. We have Gerard from Ireland there. And West Suffolk, Alan there, West Suffolk. I'm trying to find people. Oh, Mallorca, Isaac from Mallorca. I hope it's a little bit warmer there. Sean from Spain and Elise from Mallorca. Hey, you're not watching together, I used to. Diane from Australia. That's got to be the furthest one away so far. Carl from South Wales. And yeah, Dublin. We've got Nottingham. Yeah, good stuff. Loads of people from loads of different places. Right. No one's got the album yet. Okay, this is what's going to happen in a minute. I am going to be introducing Jack, bringing him into the session. It's going to be an hour to an hour and a half session with some questions at the end. If you've got questions and they're relevant as we're going, hang on, I've got to just cut in here. I've got to cut it in here. Oh, close but no cigar there, Stephen. and someone else has had a crack, but they haven't got the. There we go. That's the first person. There we go. Heather won the bonus point. It's off the wall. Well done, Heather. Good stuff. All right, where was I? Yeah, so Jack's kind of. If you've got questions and they're relevant as to what's on the screen, we can ask them as we go. All right. Now, you are about 30 seconds behind, 20 to 30. So when you type something and press enter, we see it about 20 seconds later. So just be aware of that. That's it. Let's bring in Jack. Hello there.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mark again.
Hello, Jack again. You all right?
I'm all good. Thank you, mate. I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And thanks for joining us again.
Good lad.
Lots of people in the house actually at the minute, Jack. Oh, and just another thing, press that like button, please. And if you're on YouTube,
like and subscribe.
And then I'm sure Jack's going to tell you in a minute anyway. But if anyone wants to catch up with Jack, there's his details are going across the bottom of the screen right this minute in time. Jack, it's over to you, mate. I will put your presentation on the screen.
Thank you very much, and thanks everyone thanks for having me back first, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. Like the course we did together was so much fun. Like, yeah, I don't know how many people here that have done it. Like, it was so much fun. Like, I absolutely loved it. If you've done
Jack's course, can you type in?
Yeah, let us know if you have, because I just love hearing people's feedback from it. Like some people talk to me just about about the printing and the social media side of things, as well as the tips we did. I forgot how much we did. We did so much.
We had a great time. We had a great time in Fanny's as well. There you go.
Oh, on Fanny's, the place. We'll give them a free shout out.
Leave them with that one.
I think I've seen Steve Varelli in here as well, so he knows about that place. I take a lot of people there. It's good.
Yeah. Anna's done the course. There you go.
Thank you, Anna. Amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you might recognize like a few of the things we're going to talk through this evening, because this is a big presentation, man. So I'm hoping I don't go on for too long. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. But it is like the changing seasons, changing woodlands. And I'm just going to take you on a talk through each season, really, and show you all my woodland photography, which is just kind of like one part of what I touch on. And if no one has heard about me or anything, my name is Jack. Hello. And my background is in architecture. I graduated at uni. I was like, I need something to do. I need a hobby, and photography was that. And I kind of dabbled with it at uni and did lots of street photography and traveling around, and just loved it. And from there, it's just snowballed like crazy. And we're a decade on now, which is really scary because it means I'm getting old, mate.
Yeah. Well, you're always behind me. Don't worry about that.
We'll do it together. And it's been great fun. And I always put a slide up just to show equipment, because like it's always a great conversation starter. So if anyone's got any questions about equipment, we can answer them at the end and through. But if not, here's just a list of what I use. I'm obviously a Canon user. I use the R5 for the majority of my landscape work. And I use the R5 II for a lot of my wildlife work, just because of the faster autofocus. And the lens-wise, when it comes to woodland photography, I'm really simple. I use the 24 to 105 f4 because it's so versatile, and also the 100 to 500. And they've kind of been my two staples for woodland. I very rarely shoot wider than 24 millimeters. But what is interesting is I have recently got a 70 to 200 f2.8 for wildlife. But as soon as winter's finished and I'm like my seascape kind of a week or two that I'm doing right now, I want to test that for woodland as well, because I think it'll be really good. So I'm jumping between those lenses really. And printing is a massive thing of what I do. That printer just behind us here, which has been running all day today, which has been great. I've been in the workshop with a client printing. Yeah. And woodland is one of the best things to print. You see all the texture of the bark and the trunks and the leaves, and it's brilliant. Like it really, really pops alive. And here's a few little examples of kind of what I get up to. I love doing like behind the scenes. So I love kind of documenting it. And actually recently it's become quite important to do that because of the whole AI world we're in now, where no one believes what we do. So I like taking snaps.
Everyone has a go at you, Jack, don't they?
It's brilliant. It's like the first year I was like getting it. I was like, oh, I hate this. Like, and I was like, just like, like not crying, but I was like upset about it. And like now I just laugh and I love it because I'm like, oh, this is great engagement.
Yeah.
I'm like, you keep calling it AI, whatever. But it never replaces that feeling of like being out. Like, I don't know if we've talked about it, but like I did a talk on it. I think it's for Canon, and we were talking about the whole like, will AI take our jobs, like photography? And I was like, never. Like, it doesn't replace the feeling of being in a wood, watching the mist come in, watching the light rays. Like, when do I take a picture? Now or in a minute? Or do I go higher or lower? Like, you don't get that from typing into a keyboard, mate. Like,
well, I literally just released a YouTube video about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that was the question. Yeah, will I? You know, and you know what the conclusion was? Just literally what you just said there.
Yeah, it's kind of common sense, isn't it? It's like you won't replace the love for the outdoors. Impossible.
I heard this saying. It's not the thing. It's not the thing that makes you happy. It's getting that thing that makes you happy.
Love that.
You get
it's the journey to it, right? It's so true. It's so true. Like, I can always tell when I'm out with clients, the people that just love the outdoors, because they say to me at the start, they're like, Jack, I don't mind if I don't get a picture today. Like, I just want to be out with a camera. And I'm like, wicked, because that's like me. Like, I'll just chase the weather and see what we can get. And I love it. So let's go into kind of like the start of it for me, where it began, and it was spring. That's kind of like my favorite season, just because everything comes back. Like, at the minute, we're obviously in that little winter spell, which when it's frosty and it's beautiful soft light and maybe even snowy, it's brilliant. But like today, when it's windy and wet, cool, that's tough. Like, so for woodlands, that's really hard. So like, for instance, this week I've been at the coast. Like, I've not done any woodland photography, but next week the winds are coming back down. It's a bit safer to go in the trees, and then I'll be back out over there. But spring is like that kind of first glimpse into, whoa, everything's green. And for me, it started with this image. I call it Bluebell Dreams, but the only reason for that is because it's the first picture that I took where I kind of got goosebumps, and I took like 7 days off work. I think it could have even been 2 weeks. And I just committed every morning to going out for the bluebells. And they're my favorite thing to photograph in the springtime. So what I'm doing a lot of the time, and when I was at work, I was scouting, is I'm always looking for like beech tree woodlands or old ancient oak tree woodlands. And this image was the first ever bluebell shot I took back in 2018, when I kind of dipped into woodland photography. And I look back at it now and I kind of laugh, because I got mist and I got light and I got kind of like the dream conditions, but I kind of knew what I was doing, but I didn't at the time. Like, so it was just experimenting and having fun with it. And from there, bluebells every season is just a thing I keep returning to. I just love looking for dramatic light. I'm really looking for like separation in trees. And we talked about that a lot in the course, about trying to give depth to an image. And a lot of the time it does just come from mist, or it comes from the strength of the composition. So old trees, new trees, and just that mix of green and purple. Like, I mean, you love spring as well, don't you? Like, we just love that kind of transition into those colors. It's just so fascinating.
Yeah, they are beautiful pictures. That the thing is with your pictures, they make you just want to step into them and be there. They, like, you know, the word dream was quite appropriate. I thought, you know, because it is
just like the biggest compliment.
Yeah,
that's like, I mean, that is literally the biggest compliment, because that's what you try and do, I think, as a photographer. Like, I always feel really selfish, I'm not going to lie, when I'm out, because you kind of want everyone to experience it. Like, it's that feeling of being out in nature, whether it's the light creeping through, or it's, oh, sorry, I went in a little bit heavy then, or it's watching that first glimpse of sun coming through the tree line. And it's like, you kind of want everyone to see it. And it's that magical moment of being either on your own or with a group of friends or some clients, and just enjoying it. And that's what the buzz is all about. And for me, this is probably the widest type of picture I take in a bluebell wood. And the only reason I'm shooting this wide is because I want to get a sunstar in there at some point. And I also want to show like the ferns that are growing through, because even though the bluebells are beautiful, sometimes I like to show a little bit of the details that's going on around it. And for me, it was the light hitting the back of these ferns. So it kind of came like as a bit of a priority to like get nice and wide. The struggle was not getting any of that white sky in. You know, we talked about it loads, like that, those white gaps where your eyes get drawn to, that's tough, like really tough. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
This here, using longer lenses is a big thing for me. So I will often put on a 100 to 500 and compress my scene. So this is actually a 3-shot vertical pano. And I'm really far away from this group of trees. But the really important thing is to obviously respect the wildlife and the woodlands. So I'm standing on footpaths to get these pictures. So sometimes you need that longer lens to compress it, to make the bluebells look all together. And also just to protect them, because it kind of goes without saying is we shouldn't be like standing on them. And I'll do panos quite a lot. So this is another panorama, just compressing the scenes, and I love it. And even, oh man, this was taken on a really gloomy day. Like the forecast was terrible, and it was like, well, there's no wind, so we can take shelter in the woods and just take umbrellas. So we took some umbrellas, and then for about 30 seconds, the light just beamed through. I was like, that'll do.
Yeah, that's it. That was worth the
I was
trip.
like, yeah, that makes the whole trip worth it. I just saw someone ask a question about lenses. What does the width of the lens determine the starburst? It kind of does and it doesn't. The wider you get, the longer the beams of the starburst will be. But what determines the strength of the starburst is mainly the lens and how many elements it's got inside it. So normally the wider angle lenses have more elements, and what that'll give you is more streaks on the sun stars. And for me, it's like the 15 to 35 mil is incredible for sunbursts. So I'll always put that on instead of the 24 to 105 if I know that's what I'm going to photograph. Very good question.
Yeah, good question, Harry.
And then after bluebells, I'm into garlic. So what I like to do, and what everyone's probably recognized now from like my Instagram and Facebook, is it is all seasonal, just because that's what I get attracted to. And I want to photograph locations in not their best conditions, but like they're like ideal conditions. So like the woodlands for me in spring just come alive. So I'm like, right, after the bluebell season, normally a week or 2 weeks after, or sometimes during, that the garlic blooms, and it's beautiful. So you can pretty much go it from bluebells to garlic very seamlessly.
Yeah.
But with an image. Oh, sorry, dude.
There's another question that's just come up from Robert. Are you focus stacking, and or where are you focusing?
Great question. When I first started, I focus stacked everything. But I haven't focus stacked in about 5 years. And it's solely because when I got into printing, I later realized it's nice to have a main area in focus, but a drop in focus is actually quite nice when you look at a print, because it gives you extra depth. And if I'm looking for depth in an image to kind of like what you said, like look like you're walking into it, then you need to have that slight depth of field, because that's how our eyes work quite a lot of the time. We can't see everything in focus at once. So I kind of want that same look.
Yeah. So
I don't tend to anymore. But regarding what Robert said about where you focus, normally the primary tree, like somewhere that's your key point of focus, or if there's not a single point of focus, sometimes a third in the frame.
Yeah.
Like on this image, it was either on that left tree or the right tree. And more than likely, it's on that left tree because it's the bigger tree of the two. Yeah. And at f8, f11, that's going to give me a good depth of field where just the background gets a little bit soft. You don't want like sharp fog, right? You want it to kind of be soft.
Yeah, that's right.
So very good question.
Good, Robert. Good. Now, what I'm going to do, there's a few questions here, but what I'll do, Jack, is because I'll make. I don't want to keep stopping you in your flow, so I'll put some up and then I'll write some.
Yeah, just interrupt me when one comes up.
Yeah,
that's fine, because I'll talk for about half an hour just about spring. I'm terrible.
Right. I mean, there's one here that's fairly quick. Are all these shots taken with a tripod?
Some of them, and I'd say probably 80% of them. Whereas over the last few years, I've gone more handheld because of flexibility when I'm out and about. But if I'm on my own, a lot of the time, it'll be tripod. Slowly, because I slow right down. I can bring that ISO down. But I'll get onto some in autumn, which I took recently on a workshop. And they were just example pictures, like I do all the time when I'm out. And they were taken at 6,400 ISO. And they're absolutely fine. A bit of denoise, they're great. So you don't feel like you have to be limited by a tripod. Somewhere like this, it helps loads because you're on a giant slope. So if you ever find yourself in like a sloping woodland, don't get me wrong, if you can't see the horizon, you can cheat a little bit. If you've got your level on your camera and it's showing perfectly level, but the trees are leaning, just twist your camera, like lie a little bit. And I find like in woodlands, you can really like push that, and you can make it lean even more if you want to, or lean even less, and gives you that little bit of flexibility. Here again is another panorama example. But actually, even though the garlic in this woodland is just phenomenal, the sad reality is it's now completely ruined because of ash dieback. So the whole place was felled, and the ground is completely churned up and ruined. So we probably won't see good conditions like this here for another 4 years, 5 years maybe. So if you do find a location, you just got to make the most of it. Like live with it for a little bit, get to explore it. With this image, I only knew the light was going to come through because I'd been there so many times before. I knew by a certain time after sunrise, there's a gap in above the canopy here. So I instantly kind of naturally walked to that area because I knew there's a good chance of light coming through. Whereas if I didn't know that and didn't spend 5 hours in the wood, I would have potentially stayed deep in the woodland and missed this shot completely. So the best advice I can give is sometimes when you're out in the woods, just go out without the camera. Just take your phone and just recce it out a little bit. This image is pure cheating. It's 5 minutes from my house, and it's one of those where you can just go out, line everything up, and as long as there's no camper vans like in the middle of the road, it's a really simple composition. And for everyone that knows me, I love avenues. So a nice avenue of trees is just something that I love to photograph. And I never would have taken this picture if I didn't take this picture, because I've taken this picture in every season for the last, well, we need 10 years now. But after I was walking back to the car, just on the left there, where the road kind of ends, I faced left and I saw this oak tree with the white picket fence, which I've walked past 200 odd times with my dog. And there was a little robin just sat above the bluebells on the kind of ivy bush. And I was like, no way. And I heard it before I took a picture. So I was like, that's quite cool. And then this is my favorite of the two. Yeah. And sometimes these things happen, just pure accident. And I mean, you know this place way too well. We went here on the course, but look at it during the spring. We unfortunately didn't see it in the spring, did we?
We was there in the autumn. It was just on the cusp of autumn. We was there.
It. Yeah, and it's so different. Like the place just comes alive, and everything just pops. The bluebells come through. We're really high up on a woodland here, and all the fog comes in. And most of the time, I look for low cloud, because everyone always says to me, "How do you get so much fog?" And a lot of the time, I'm just looking for a really grey, like pea soupy day, like low cloud. A little bit of drizzle would be amazing. Not like a heavy, you get soaked type of rain, but like a little drizzle, and it gives atmosphere. So like this picture here, for instance, was only slightly foggy, but then it started drizzling. And when you take a long exposure image, all that drizzle is going to turn into like a atmospheric, like haze as such. And it just gives you that glowing look, which I love in woodland images.
Sometimes when you say a long exposure for that, you're not talking like 8 seconds. You're talking a second or something.
Dude, no, this one here was 30 seconds.
Oh, really? Because the tree looks like I can't.
Yeah. There's no wind.
A windy day then. Wow.
No. I mean, if there was wind, no chance. But ideally, when it becomes foggy and you get that haze, there's normally not a lot of wind, and you can really push it to a long exposure. I'd play that by ear. It's condition dependent. Like this, for instance, if I did a long exposure here, the whole thing would be blurry. This is a fast shutter just because the light was beaming through and I wanted to get those rays. And if I did use a long shutter here, it was a little bit too windy and the leaves would just lose all the detail. So it does depend on the subject. But sometimes, like, I'm in the woods, or sometimes I'm photographing above them. Like you don't have to be in the woodlands the whole time. You can just be shooting top down. And a lot of people have done that with drones recently with woods, and I've found that incredible. Some really like unique perspectives. But I'll sometimes just use my 100 to 500 to go out of the woodlands and shoot down through them and just give a different view. Like this image here, for instance, I was actually photographing Colmers Hill in the distance, which is that tiny little like mound up in the top there on the left. but then I zoomed out a little bit because I wanted to capture some more context. And that could be just one oak tree, that could be a valley, it could be a whole woodland, and I just love it. Did I take you to this tree by any chance?
No, I don't know. I can't remember this.
I don't think we did, because it would have been peak spring for us to get this, and I can't remember when we did our little recce if we went there. But for about 2 weeks of a year, this tree just blossoms like wonder, and it's amazing. And I'll always look for blossom in areas. So like after bluebells, after garlic, after the young spring greens, blossom trees are an amazing thing to focus on, normally in May time, like mid-May. So it's something that I'll like work on, and I'll keep going back and just keep getting it in different conditions, because as well as like colors, like you get the pinks, you get the blues, but one thing I love to photograph is the canola, the rapeseed, and you get those yellow strips and yellow rolling fields, which I absolutely love. And I mean, all of these pictures were taken, I don't know, about a week apart. And like just single trees are a great thing to focus on. You don't have to be deep in the woodland. You could just be shooting it from the outside. This is Wyn Green up in Wiltshire, which I think we've been together. Yeah, and but far away.
Yeah, that at the top there's your winning shot, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, well, it didn't even win anything. No, it got I think it got placed, or I think they call it commended, but like it's in the book. Yeah, but I'm not very good with competitions. I always forget to enter them. Like, I'm terrible. But yeah, this is Wyn Green, but I'm during the springtime I'm trying to get the fresh green leaves but with some rapeseed fields. So I love that yellow and green combination, and obviously on this occasion got very, very lucky with a lightning strike, which sometimes would happen. If you're in the right place, you're good. And then somewhere like Moor Critchell, like I photograph it all the time. This is one of probably maybe the third picture I took there back in 2018, but it's one of my favorites. It's long shadows, and I love long shadows. If I can give any recommendation, is when it comes to woodland, you don't have to go on cloudy days. Think about going to the edges of woodlands or single trees when it's clear skies, because you get those long shadows, and I love photographing into them. So even though a lot of the time I'll have the sun behind me, over my shoulders, on the odd occasion I'll be happy to shoot into the sun to get those long shadows. Love it. Same group of trees, but look how different it looks. This is like early spring, that's why there's not a lot of green leaves. This is like peak spring, and obviously very lucky again with quite a foggy morning. So it just changes so much, and I love spring for that whole reason. The amount of colors, because I love color, is kind of overwhelming at first, but when it comes to the woodlands, just look for simple compositions, things that you can keep returning to, and just let the color do the talking, really. And then, have we got any little questions we could do between? We could do little questions between season fillers, couldn't we?
All right. Okay. We did have one actually. Alex is pink. That's her name. Somewhere. I've got to find it now. Well, I remember the question anyway. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right. Can you get the same quality with EF lenses as you can with RF lenses? I thought you'd like this because you love a bit of gear. You do, don't you?
Oh, I'm such a gearhead. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, great question. And of course you can. Like the whole EF to RF switch is mainly just the mount from DSLR to mirrorless. It does depend on the lens. So, on is it the original EF 24 to 105 f4 was seen as a bit of a kit lens, right? Whereas it's great. It's a brilliant lens. But the RF version is like even sharper, and like it's not really seen as a kit lens. It's like a professional grade lens. So it depends what lens you're upgrading and changing from. But yeah, I know people using like big EF prime lenses still, because the quality is incredible, and you got the 50 mils and the 35 mils and 600 mils.
Yeah, we work with someone called Oliver Wright. He does macro, does nature. As well,
Ollie's he's incredible.
Yeah. He told me that his EF lenses, with the mount, with the you can get a adapter mount on the R5. He said that was even sharper. Just with the
absolutely. I actually had when it came. I don't do a lot of macro, but I tried to get into it. I had the RF 100mm macro, and then I bought the EF 180mm macro. The EF 180mm macro is by far my favorite. It's like 18 years old. You can't even buy it anymore unless you find a good used one. And it's incredible. So like there is some EF gems out there.
On it. You put the adapter mount on it and put it on your iPhone.
Yeah, it's really easy to use. And like even before I got my 400 Prime, I hired the EF one with an adapter on it, and it was just as quick. Like it's incredible. There's so many good bargains out there for it. Very good question. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you carry on with summer. I've got, and we can come back to questions.
Nice. So like, as soon as like kind of spring finishes, during like the last probably the 2 to 3 weeks, like I say last 2 weeks of May, I'm already like planning my summer shoots, summer locations. And you'll notice here it's the same woodland that I showed you as the first image for spring. And the reason for that is going back each season for me is really important. One, just to experience it in different coats as such. Like you'll notice here, the bluebells have completely gone. And there's only about 3 or 4 weeks between these photos, even though in reality there's about 5 years between these. But like in terms of the time scale of bluebells, there's about 3 or 4 weeks difference between them being at peak and then these ferns completely taking over. It is not long at all. And it's worth just going back and looking at how ferns develop, because I mean, you know this place, Mark, like we went here on the course, and it's just looking at how the ferns interact with woodlands. They're just so pretty. There's so much texture, which I love. And it's just showing those fresh greens with the ferns together that I love doing. And you could take an image like this that I try and do each year, and you could just move 2 footsteps to the side and get something like this. And it's just using your feet to work out different compositions. And there's not one that's my favorite. I like both, but the difference is insane. And I no word of a lie, I'm 3 or 4 footsteps over to the right for the second one. So you have to really slow down. Sometimes just put the camera in the bag and just look at it and take it in. Because I mean, I remember when we were here, we took it and then like, you were like, oh, I would have walked right past that. And like, that's normal. Everyone reacts the same to that. Like, that's not a picture, is it? And then you get your camera out and you're like, oh, that's a picture. You have to just slow everything like right down. But one of my favorite things to do, especially in the summer months, is heather. Heather is incredible. I know we're on about woodland, and this is the New Forest. Single trees like this, a little silver birch. You could just stand and watch it for ages. And for me, watching the light change is massive. So this is taken kind of before the light comes out, and then this is as soon as the light comes out. So not even moving the tripod, just keeping it super steady and just waiting for it to change and looking at that difference as it happens is really, really important. Again, New Forest, this is just Rockford Common overlooking the whole vast landscape. Because again, I could be more than happy in the spring in the woods, but in the summer months, it's quite tricky, right? Because the sun's so bright. You have, I don't know, half an hour after sunrise of nice golden light, and then it already starts to get quite harsh. So on a blue sky day like this, instead of being in the woods for too long, because as soon as the sun gets too high and too strong, your branches, your trunks, they're going to be overexposed because it's just so bright. You'll have to start bracketing and blending, and you'll get this really like heavy HDR look, which I'm not the biggest fan of personally. So I would be outside the woods and using the light on trees, and that's all I'm doing with shots like this. I'm using the light to draw across in the summer months, because a lot of people don't photograph in the summer, and I always say it's such a shame because there's so much you can do. You can just use light to your advantage. You can watch it change the trees, or you can just, again, focus on colors. So here's a rowan tree, and what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for those shadows to move over, because in this image it's quite dark, and in this image I want that light to ping through. Who said that about the summer mornings? Leanne, hello.
Yeah, it's just said, yeah.
Very early. Yeah, Leanne's been out with me a few times. She knows how early those summer mornings are. Like, that is a 4 o'clock alarm. There is no sugarcoating it. It is so hard.
Right? Hey, that's how you get them.
It's got to be done. The great thing I always say to people is, like, you could go out at 4, you could be back having breakfast at 7, and you could be back in bed by 8. doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you wake up at 4 PM. You could then go out for a sunset. So just change your sleeping pattern a little bit, or do what I do and just have loads of nanny naps, because I love a nanny nap. I could easily just sleep for an hour or two. Here's that same picture that I showed you of Coleman's Hill, but just taken, different season. So just showing how dark it looks here, like a little bit of mist again, but jumping from the blues into the colors is fascinating. And again, this was almost, I want to say, I literally want to say this was taken 3 days after we did our filming. It could have even been 1 day, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that's
I think
right.
we went there, we filmed it, and then I went back and got the fog. Like, I was like, I wish we did this on the video.
Yeah.
But we got it. And it kind of lent in. I think we talked about it, about how like going back and back again is so important, because that's the only reason why I would have got this picture. And I did all the hard work. We worked out together composition, balance, where to stand, all that hard stuff. And when it came to this, it was just, get in the car, turn up, off you go. Yeah.
Just waiting for the conditions.
Just waiting. And sometimes, like here, I like to show this, because even though I love the spring version with the fog and like the drizzle, there's nothing here. This is just a really bright morning, like blue skies again. And I've just got all the summer like cow parsley taking over. So the ground has completely come alive with cow parsley. Sometimes you'll get snowdrops here, like in the winter as well. So there's loads of little wildflowers that you can photograph. And it's because the composition is so strong, I think, that tree and the overhanging branch is so powerful that as long as you just get a nice little bit of light, nothing over the top in terms of harshness, you can just take a really nice and simple photograph. Like, you could rock up, take this on your phone and go home. Is quite a quick one. And then here's the same tree, but in a different light. So this is, if I go back a few, it's back a bit too far, isn't it now? I won't bore you all, but it's the same tree that I photographed the day after or 2 days after our course. But going back again and seeing what it looked like, I think a week later, and how all the lime greens were starting to go quite dark. And it's kind of that turn to autumn. So what I like to do is wait for autumn to start to take over in the summer months and try and show that where I can. So in this case, it was those ferns on the right-hand side. I loved how they were turning orange, but the ones on the left were still bright green, and it's showing that turn of seasons. This was a great mistake I made. I went up to Glencoe in the hope of autumn colours, and later realised I timed it by about 2 weeks wrong, and it was a midgie fest. No. It was bad, man. I had to wear like a net over my head and all sorts. But what was really nice was I don't know how many people know about Glencoe or have been there, is the lack of trees is insane. Like, it was obviously felled for all the hunting and the deer and everything, and there's not a lot around. So trying to find little pockets of these lovely trees, like you do get Scots pines in places, but I was searching for all these like ferns and like just nice solo trees. And when I came across this classic composition, I just thought, it'd be nice to show it in the summer months. So I went back and got it in the fresh greens with Bucalatif more behind and the nice ferns in the corner. And it's another one of those seasonal ones. Here you can see that avenue of trees I photographed, and I talked about shooting it from above with the long lens. Here's it during the summer months. And the sole reason I like to go back here is because the shadows change. So you completely get a change in position of where the shadows are, and you just get that long shadow, which I love in the summer months. Here was a great one. This is Snowdonia. You can't actually photograph here anymore, so I always feel bad showing it because it's been completely privatized and like fenced off. So don't try go here, because it's like barbed wire fenced, private signs. So there's no point unless you can get permission from someone. But it's a beautiful little spot. It's called Penmancho Bridge. You got this lovely old Roman bridge, big oak trees, and I went here with my friend, and he was like, I wish we'd get some fog. I was like, oh yeah, me too, I'd love some. And the next day it looked like it was going to be foggy, so I went back and got it in the fog. Like, there's only 24 hours between these two pictures, and the difference was huge. Like, this is quite dense, like there's a lot going on, and you couldn't see the bridge through the trees, and the background was quite dark, and I thought, the fog will fix that, and lo and behold, it did. Sometimes it does.
So that's private. That was private land, was it? And they just got the ump with all the photographers going there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was private land back then, or when was that, 2023, 2022? Because it was all open, no fences or anything. There's a little footpath that people would walk down to the river. So it's quite a popular spot. And whether it got too popular and then it got privatized and fenced off, I don't know. But I did read somewhere that the bridge, because it's such an old Roman bridge, people, I don't know why, were walking over it. And like just looking at that in the picture, you can tell it's quite unstable. But maybe it's a health and safety thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you've got to be a bit careful with health and safety and stuff like that. And talking about the long lens again, I always talk about it because people are always shocked when I talk about a 100 to 500 for woodland. But if you are using it to pick out compositions, like a nice summer misty morning is always a great way to find something to photograph. And during those, I'd say September months, August, September, just that on that turn. So we're on the cusp of summer to autumn. You get really nice mists, and the sole reason for that is the temperature change. You go from like hot days to cold mornings and cold nights, and if you've got a clear sky, the chance of getting a nice bit of mist is fantastic, especially if you have some rain the day before. And I love just going out with the long lens, and this was taken with the same idea in mind. I was going to do some like big long views, but I like to show this image because I was planning to do some stuff like this, but I didn't just take my 100 to 500. I also took my 24 to 105. Like, never leave a lens at home because I guarantee you'll need to use it. And this was one of those pictures. Like, I couldn't have done it if I didn't take all of my lenses. Wind green again. Really simple image, but again, instead of being in the trees, shooting outside of them, but this time making the most of the summer wildflowers. Like, we're really spoilt here, Dorset, Wiltshire, Hampshire. Like, a lot of the farms, a lot of the land is rewilded, and you get all these beautiful wildflowers propping up. It's just making the most of those, really. And then obviously a very lucky white fluffy cloud.
Yeah. I could just imagine you standing there, Jack, just looking at it going,
it was crazy. Mate, it was so bad. It was like all the way over there, and I was like, will it make it? And like on its way across, it changed shapes like 6 times. At one point it was this beautiful like typical cloud that a child would draw, and then just as it got to me, it had like one little hump left, and I was like, oh, that'll do, but it's not like the cloud shape that I wanted. But yeah, that's my OCD kicking in.
Yeah.
And what I also like to do is just look. Well, I love pine trees. I love any woodlands, really. But it's making the most of foggy mornings when you can. But also, I love rhododendrons. Like, I know they're really invasive. Like, they are an absolute nightmare for woods and for gardening. But they are so pretty. Like that little hint of pink in the summer is brilliant, because you obviously have the heather, and then I love that combination of going to photograph the heather like 3 or 4 weeks before this, and then knowing deep down that when the heather turns and goes a bit brown, I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll get some rhododendrons in a couple of weeks, and you get that hint of pink. So what I like to do is just basically go for a scout, like a recce. So I've got like a little like side bag that I take with a 24 to 105, my one camera, maybe a polarizer. And when I'm taking a picture like this, I'm twisting the polarizer to get rid of any of that glare on the rhododendrons that normally makes them look white-ish. And as soon as you twist that to get rid of the glare, they just glow pink. And they give this like almost like painted on look, which I really, really like. And I'd say that's like the one filter I would recommend to everyone to have for woodland. And that is a polarizer for that sole reason, just to get rid of glare and reflections. I'm back up in Snowdonia now. So this is up in Wales. Again, you might be able to see it, but what I'm doing is I want this tree to be the main character of the story, but you can see a little boathouse like cut through it in the middle, and that's obviously very well placed with the tripod. But what I like to recommend to everyone to do is, if you can, and obviously it's dependent on weight of the tripod, height of the tripod and things, but get a really tall tripod. And the sole reason for that is this picture was taken about 2 meters high, and if I didn't have the option to have a tripod that high, this little boathouse would have been like in the tree trunk itself. And I kind of think a lot of my woodland stuff is shot really high, because if this went any lower, I would have lost the boathouse. But also, you see the tops of the tree, they would have been above the mountains. and they would have broken that kind of horizon that I've made myself. So it's quite important to think, now I need to get really high. So yeah, big tripods, very, very much recommended. Same in this case. I needed a big tripod to separate this tree and get it above the chimneys. This is taken in the Norwich Quarry. And I wanted this tree on the middle left to kind of stretch out, but I didn't want it to touch the chimneys in the distance. So I spent way too long than I care to admit moving the tripod up and down. But spring's brilliant. Like this is just a sunny day, looking for like a deep woodland. So sometimes if it is really sunny and you're struggling with like inspiration, like you can't get to the coast or you don't have any nice rolling hills and you really just want to do woodland, just look for a really like dense woodland if you can, like somewhere which is quite deep in the center of somewhere really big, like really dense leaves. And what that's going to do is help diffuse the light a little bit. And try and not photograph in the middle of the day if you can help it in the woods, because it will be really harsh light if it's clear. But early morning, late night is really good for getting that like glow look. And then yeah, more ritual. Summer months is brilliant. Like what you're doing is all the crops have been harvested. So normally it's rapeseed fields either side or one side, barley or wheat fields. On this occasion, I just missed the harvest. Like I really want a picture of the combine going past as I take it. I probably shouldn't say that because I've not said that before, but hey ho, like I'll try this year or on the year after. But yeah, I really want a nice combine with this composition. Maybe one day I'll have to ask them nicely. And then have we got any other little questions before we go on to autumn?
There was a few that have come through. I'll have to go back now. There was one from someone. Here we go. From Richard Johnston here.
Hey, Richard.
When you get fog, is there a best position for the light? Side, behind you, into it, etc.
Oh, great question. Do you know what? I honestly don't think there is a best position. I would say everything, like, because it depends on what you're photographing. Like when there's like real thick, dense fog, if you're photographing into the sun, you could get this amazing glow. Like it could be really atmospheric as it's coming through. Or if the sun's behind you, it might softly light the tree trunk. So it's a really good question, but really hard to answer because I'd actually say there isn't a bad. Yeah, I would say it's more composition dependent. Yeah, I would basically say, there isn't a bad one. It's more what composition are you photographing, really? Yeah, good question.
Okay. All right, we'll go. I have got some more, but we'll get to them. Don't worry. We're gonna go back to your presentation, Jack.
Amazing. So autumn time. Autumn time is incredible. Like I always, like most of the year, I'm like, spring's my favorite, and then it gets to autumn, I'm like, autumn's my favorite, and I always struggle to pin down why it's my favorite. But for me, like after a summer of those long days, I think that's mainly what it is they're tough. Like especially for me, I'm normally doing like, I don't know, 16, 18-hour days, because a workaholic like me, I'll do a sunrise workshop and then I'll very silly plan a sunset workshop as well because I'm that obsessed. But it means they're long. So when it comes to autumn, I get to slow things down a little bit, and the light just gets even better because it's starting to get softer. And this woodland, especially in the autumn, the sun's come a lot further round. So unlike the spring and the summer images, which was just thick fog, I can like really use the light to my advantage. And I mean, I know how much you love light rays as well. I saw you did. I saw a little reel, I think, the other day about you talking about light rays. I think that might be an AI one, actually.
That was how to create them in Lightroom. Yeah.
Did you fake them?
Yeah. Well, they were kind of there very, very, very slightly. And then
naughty boy.
Faked them. Yeah. No, I openly said I was fake. I taught people how to fake them. And it was actually one of our members that because there's a really cool way of doing it. I won't go through it. It's a whole thing. But yeah.
It sounds like a good video. I'm going to have to go watch it because, to be honest, I probably need to do that sometimes.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah. To be honest, Jack, it doesn't actually work if there isn't nothing there in the first place, right?
So you're just enhancing. Yeah,
exactly. You need a sunburst, or you need something with a little bit of rays, and then you can really give it some.
Absolutely, man. There was I wouldn't name them because I don't know what company it was, but they emailed me like every month asking me to promote, and when I Google it, all it is like you press buttons and it adds light rays and it adds sun stars. And I'm like, what on earth is this? Like, why would I do that? I'd rather be out doing it. Like,
takes the fun away.
Yeah, and it's all about that fun and chasing. And here's our new forest shot. This was, I think this was taken the year before we did it together. And yeah, I love this composition. And what I love about going back to it in the autumn is the fact that this little branch on the right now, it was dying. That's why it was like the autumn colors constantly. But now I went back winter, back at about, I don't know, 3rd week of November last year, and that has got no leaves on it anymore. So like that means they won't grow again. They're gone. So this tree, this dead beech tree on the right, might not even make it another year. So that's why I found it really important to keep going back, because it will just be gone at one point, and I won't be able to go back there. And you can see here, I wanted to show the turn of seasons. So even though autumn is all about the oranges, which is what primarily shooting here, for this image, the same one, but stood a bit further back, I wanted to show that gradient of color from orange to yellow. I find that so important to show like different color combinations and how they can complement each other, especially during autumn, because it's really easy to get honed in on, I just got to go to beech trees, or I've just got to go to the orange silver birches or yellow silver birches. But for me, it's like, don't ignore the oak trees, because they hold on to the green leaves so much longer. And you can get that combination of green with orange, depending on the density of the woodland that you're shooting. Another cheesy sunstar. I love them. I won't apologize. I'm obsessed. And this is actually taken on, what was this? I want to say this was the Zeiss Batiste lens, which was way back when. And it used to sunstar so well. Like it was so crisp. And again, shooting at f/22, I was focused on the little bit of foreground. And I know there's the whole diffraction theory, right? Like it is a thing, like images do get soft with diffraction, but in all honesty, a little bit of extra sharpening in post, I think it's fine. Like you can print these quite big. They're not as sharp as f11, but what you could do is take a full image at f11, take a sunstar from f/22 and blend them together if you're really bothered about diffraction.
Which you teach in your course, Jack. If
we have
not done that yet, you can come and look how it's done.
And it works really well. And it's like if it really annoys you, you can get that full sharp image all the way through and just bring the f/22 through at the top. And I wanted to show you this image because I really wanted to capture these silver birches in the peak. And like it's really difficult in this part of the New Forest because it's so windy. So for 3 years I was trying, and like sometimes the tree on the right was like bare leaves, the one on the left was bare leaves. It was such a battle. So when I went back, I made the most of it, and I waited quite a long time. We got it looking like this, but then when the light hit, they just came alive. Like it was so intense. Like the difference was huge. It's always worth waiting that extra 10 minutes, you know, when your bag's packed.
Yeah.
Sometimes just wait.
I mean, a little bit. Like someone switch the light on, isn't it? You know,
it is literally like that. Yeah. It's just Mother Nature doing its thing. Here's the big oak tree, or technically three oak trees. But you'll notice, even though this is like peak autumn, the ferns are still green as anything. And I think it's because it's a really like damp part of the woods. So like they hold on to so much moisture. I need to go back and get it like completely orange, like just for that like autumn feel. But this is the closest I've got so far, where the oak leaves have turned orange. The ferns are kind of turning, but I need to go back. It's one of those like shots that you need to keep going back to. And here's the old gnarly tree that I always talk about in peak autumn colors, which we got this year, last 2025, sorry. So I was really happy about that because I've photographed here like every autumn, but I've never got it with the fog. So the morning of this, believe it or not, was a workshop that I think I planned in 2024 for like October, and it was really bad weather, like 60-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain. So we rearranged for a year ahead, like just picked a random date that all people could make. I think it was a Saturday. I was like, okay, let's do it. It might be busy, but we'll book it. Fast forward a whole year, and this is the conditions we got. And I was like, right, you're now my lucky workshop group. Like we have to do something every year together, because I was like, the chance of getting those conditions a year ahead, ridiculous. Just luck. And then here's the view up in Scotland. You got the trees here now turned autumn colour. You got some of the rowan berries on the right there. A very lucky rainbow, like very faint, but it was just there. But look how different it looks in the autumn months. Just chasing those oranges. Again, looking at perfect trees. Oh, Leanne, yeah, I just saw Leanne comment saying it was perfect. She was with me on that trip.
Okay.
so yeah, Leanne's a lucky one. And just chasing rainbows for me in autumn is a massive thing. And someone asked earlier about positions of fog. I think it might have been Richard.
Yeah.
This is one of those where I'm photographing into it. And the sole reason for that is as soon as the sun gets high enough, and normally, I don't know, 2-3 hours after sunrise, it will beam through and just give you the most amazing light rays. And this did it for about 3 hours. Like it was a 3-hour stint of just light rays. And I've got some of my most favorite woodland images from here from just that one morning. Sometimes you just hit the jackpot. This was the same morning, believe it or not, but taken like round the other side. I swear Jack carries rainbows in his car. Hey, Rob.
That's what I've said this to you a few times. I said, they just follow you around. They just Jack's over there. I'm just going to come out for him while the camera there.
It is mad. I think I can smell them. Like I just have this weird sense. If anyone wants an exclusive, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a rainbow in the morning, by the way. So down here on the south coast, I'm out and about with a client. I think we're gonna get some rainbows.
Cool.
But yeah, and I just love chasing anything colourful. Wow, this is me like rushing up. Like you have like a 1 week window here, up in Snowdonia to get the most amazing. This is Virginia creeper, like up on the tea rooms here. The crazy thing is this tea room now they've had to redo their roof. So like architecturally it probably needed to happen, but now we've not got any of that Virginia creeper on the top. So I'd probably say it needs another 2 or 3 years until this shot becomes a reality. So that I just wanted to touch on that solely from the planning perspective. Like especially in autumn, you have to really plan your shoots because you have to think about the color when it's going to peak. Like you only really have 2 weeks probably of like solid peak color. And the problem with autumn is the winds. So just as we're entering winter time, the winds pick up and it only takes one storm to get rid of all the leaves. And that's normally what happens at this spot. So it took me about 3 years to get like the peak conditions there. And then I've started doing this a lot. I mean, this would be a different talk completely. Like you've already got courses on wildlife, so it'd be a different thing. But I like incorporating a bit of wildlife into autumn time because especially when there's like swans going around like here and just showing them in the context is really nice. And I'm trying to do more of it now as I'm like creeping into that wildlife world of photography. And for me, this image was all about the bridge, about the colors, and I loved it. It was really nice, but it didn't make me like press the shutter button to something that I loved until the swans came in. And it's always just looking for that extra element that could make it a little bit different. And I think that's really important. It could be swans. It could be a person with an umbrella. It doesn't matter. Just something. Skip past a big sky. And then even though like we're in the woods a lot of time, I've talked a lot about shooting out of the woods. And this was one of those mornings that I was planning to go to a wood just to the left of us here with a group. And I normally meet about an hour before sunrise. And it paid dividends here solely because if we did go into the woods, we would have missed this sky. Like it would have gone. But because I could see the gap on the horizon when I got there early, and I could see the fact that we had all this high cloud, you just have to think of extra locations that are kind of in like your memory bank that you could get to, just in case conditions change. And it is one of the best skies I've seen in the New Forest ever. But it's just like, oh, I know a lone tree that I drive past all the time. We can go there. And it was one of those impromptu trips.
Wow.
And getting a little bit creative is fun. So shooting at f2.8, like shooting nice and wide open, standing in a bush or in a tree to photograph another tree. And that's what I was doing on this occasion, just to give depth. I think it's great fun. Sometimes using long exposures. Like I said a lot about the polarizer. On this occasion, I was using a 10-stop ND filter. And no word of a lie, this is just a puddle. This is like almost like I say it's more of a pond than a puddle, but it wasn't big. And there was just this one trunk coming through. And what you're seeing there is just loads of leaves, loads of autumn leaves in the water. And over the course of 4 minutes, they were just swaying around. And in real life, they were like just gently moving. But once you just look at an area for long enough, you realize, oh, that leaf started there, but now it's all the way there. So if I do a long exposure, what does that do? And you're very creative. You do stuff like this all the time, don't you? And you kind of just open that door to like endless creativity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's great fun.
Because I've just watched Stranger Things. It kind of got that colour, like a hand coming out of the.
Oh man! Or Terminator. You know, Terminator when he puts his thumb up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It gave me Terminator vibes. Yeah. Oh, Stranger Things. What a series. Love it. And then this is I showed you that those trees I shot with the long lenses with the long shadows. Same place. Like this is North Dorset. Peak awesome colors, but I wanted to show this image as an example of always shooting raw. I'm sure you all do, but I originally shot in JPEG like 2014, 2015, and when I was out, this was 2017. I was so glad I photographed in raw, because when I went back to look for this image, it was almost pitch black because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I underexposed it so much that I didn't see this image. And after like 6 years, I forgot I took it. But when I was going back through, I just bumped the exposure up by 3 whole stops, and this came back to life. So yeah, it was a happy accident, but it just shows the power of raw files. Like I should in the presentation put the original next to the edit. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, it's a big difference. And then I've started in autumn months working more on textures and patterns, and for this occasion it was about the almost like the diamond shapes that you're getting here. So if you look in the top right corner, bottom right corner, they're like dark blue triangle, and then look on the left, you've got the same with orange. It's quite subtle, but it was like a diamond, and I wanted to make the most of this beautiful reflection. And I just went there on I think it was a sunrise, this could have been sunset, I can't fully remember, but it was just so nice to see that like divide of colors, where you've got peak autumn on one side and then almost a late bloomer on the other. And I think what happened is the bit on the right is quite prone to wind. So you can see it stripped all the leaves. So they didn't even have a chance to peak. But on the left, they've still got their colors. And I really enjoy this type of woodland now. I love like looking for stretching compositions, like different colors, like I'm really getting into the arty stuff and the arty side of it, and it's most of the time longer lenses, just compressing subjects. And this is from Savernake Forest, which is just phenomenal, like an absolute playground. And I like just getting lost in there and just walking around. You can find all sorts of like fun characters. I'm just going to skip through because I've just realised the time and I've still got winter. I'm sorry. Was it half 8? Oh, I'm so bad at this. I take so long to talk.
That's all right.
And just looking for color and composition, really. And this was probably my favorite. This tree on the right that you can see is actually, I should have put them next to each other, is this tree, taken 2 minutes apart. But I only saw that composition because I took this picture. And I saw that tree on the right, almost like this tree bird like shape, or tree beard shape. And I thought, oh, that'd be interesting to go photograph. And I just walked along the path and just got a little bit closer, and using like overhanging branches to frame other trees is a great way of creating a composition. I love like overhanging branches. So you can see here there's a little gate, and I'm just using the trunks to create this little octopus arm to go over it. And sometimes you can use them to like hug a scene. So for here, there's a little like sapling tree on the bottom, and I wanted to use this tree to like almost overhang it like a bridge. And you're just using shapes and patterns to draw your eye somewhere. And again, this is something that you just walk past. Like the actual trees themselves, the trunks aren't that interesting, and there's not a lot on the ground. There's like a footpath, and it's quite messy. There's ivy. But if you just like look up and just zoom in, you can compress everything and get rid of all the distractions and just show one or two things. So for me, for this image, in that background there, you've got this like Y-shaped trunk. I wanted that to look like it was touching the other trunks. And so to do that, I just moved myself around until it was in the middle of these two intersecting branches. And it gets quite complicated. And it's just moving around, going up and down. Okay, this is another one. Like, believe it or not, this is taken like on the wonk. Like, you'd have to tilt your head to see how I took this properly. Like, the dark blue was actually the bottom of the trees, and the bright bit was at the top. But I rotated my camera around on the wonk and took a picture because I found it nicer that the tree was leading in from the bottom right corner and taking you through. So it hurts your neck a little bit looking at this image, but I thought it was quite fun. And I don't show a lot of this because I'm working on a bigger presentation for it, but I do dabble with the whole ICM scene, like when it comes to woodland. And the whole reason for that is when it's like, I don't know, the light's getting a bit harsh or you've got lots of textures, it's quite fun to sometimes just slow down your shutter to half a second, 2 seconds, and just give it a little wobble. Just do a little ICM, and it's great fun, especially in the autumn months. And then finishing with obviously more Critchell. Peak autumn here is insane. Like if you say to me, Jack, I want to come to Dorset, where's one place to go in autumn? It would just be more Critchell for me. I think everyone's got to experience it and witness it. Normally, say first or second week of second to third week of November, it peaks. But I've even photographed it in December. It's a late bloomer, but the colours there are just incredible. You can capture it in the change of seasons. So this is dark orange into yellows. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a little pheasant crossing the road here, which is quite fun. Didn't realize it until I got home. It was just a fluke. Got home and I was like, there's a pheasant crossing the road. And I've also photographed in the snow, which is just mad because it was November, peak autumn, and it started like a blizzard happened. And like, I couldn't believe our luck. I was like, there's no way. And it was just great fun to run around these trees and just capture them in peak autumn with snow. It was bonkers. And then sometimes you get really lucky. So for here, it was really windy. So instead of giving up, we just used really high shutter speeds. So we actually shot this at ISO 6400 to get at least 200th of a second to freeze the falling leaves. So instead of doing a long exposure on a tripod, we upped everything to show the fact it was windy by catching the falling leaves. And it's such a beautiful road, you obviously get some cars going down it. So on the odd occasion, and I've been really lucky every year, there's always like quite a rare like vintage car or like something quite interesting going down it. And you couldn't make it up that a yellow Porsche decided to go down this orange avenue. And then on another occasion, an orange McLaren. And he drove down, he got out, took a picture, and then he saw us at the top. And as he drove past, he put his window down. He's like, do you want me to pose the car? And I was like, yes, I do. I was like, go for it. So that was a bit of fun. And I think if that turns, we'll go into winter. But we could have another little question break if you like.
Yeah. Okay. There's actually quite a few. We're gonna have to get.
I can run through winter.
Yeah. We'll get to them at the end. But Brian Nicholson here, he put this question up a little while ago actually, but about using infrared. So do you ever use infrared?
I've never used it, but my friend Neil does it a lot, and so does actually a few people I know actually know. Like Paul does it as well. I really want to, really want to. Not done it, but I'd love to get into it because I just love the look of the really black skies and the white trees. I love that look. So especially on those blue sky days, it could be really fun.
Yeah, cool. And then there is one Steely Nick.
Oh, hey, Nick.
How do you go about scouting or finding locations in new areas? It's the biggest struggle that I have. Do you check Google, social media? Dorset seems to be such a target-rich environment.
Oh, great question. All of the above, like, is what I check. Google, social media, books. People underestimate books. And I'm not talking photography books, because obviously they're the obvious. Look at other books. Look at wildlife book, nature books, tree books, planting book, local guide books, like just these books that people have written, because I've got loads of them. And like, you'll find this, I'm not going to lie, pretty poor picture, right, of this amazing location that someone's just taken as an example. And you're like, oh, I'll go there and I'll see what I can do. And like, you find this little gem. So yeah, there's loads of little gems on there. And the Dorset seems to be such a target rich environment. Obviously, like, it's with proper like iconic like locations here, but honestly, I think it's the same everywhere. Like, it might not be they might not have vast landscapes, but there's other things to photograph. I think it's just getting out. It's tough. It's just getting out and seeing beauty and everything, really.
It is getting out. The more you get out, the better you get at it. It's as simple as that.
And there's always something to photograph, like always.
Yeah. All right, we'll go back to your presentation, Jack, please.
Thank you.
Back over to you.
Winter. Nice. So winter's great fun in the woodlands because for me, I'm chasing rare things again. So fog, mist, cloud, or in this case, like frost. So I love hoarfrosts or anything which completely changes the look of the woodland. And it really just brings it alive. Everything goes steely white. And this image was like 6 years in the making because it just doesn't snow here. So I had to settle for like a hard frost in the end. After that day, I drove straight to this place. I was like, okay, I need to capture the change of the season. So looking for those white colors. And I really wanted to complement them with some of the oranges.
I like that.
Yeah, it's quite different, you see. So like there's no like bright colors. It's quite muted, quite a simple woodland. This is up in Wareham Forest. And the whole reason was just to show the texture of the trunks, like just to show the story they've got and just focus on those. And just, I really liked the tree on the left where it had this little like canopy, like in between this little diamond. I was like, oh, that'd be quite nice to frame. So I just put that on the left and put this tree on the right. So really simple, like rule of thirds picture.
Yeah, and I like the way it falls off. The focus falls off in the background.
Oh, thank you. So this was actually taken at f5.6. So the whole point of like softening that background out is sometimes really important. Here's those silver birches that I showed earlier when the light kind of switched on and off. But a few weeks later, and you can see like the leaves completely going. But on a hard frost morning, it was just incredible. Like, it just looked so nice. They looked like they were on fire. And here's the tree, the famous tree on purpose with an accidental light that my friend was walking down with a head torch. And as soon as he saw it, I was like, right, need to stop, man. We need to go and do that again. So we went back with head torches and it just diffused like through the fog. And you got this beautiful streaks. And I've never done anything with artificial lights. You're the master of those. I don't even know how to use a flash, but this was just a head torch. I cheated.
Yeah, it's nice.
And this is rays of light from just a foggy morning. And in the winter, what's great here is the sun's so low on the horizon. So you get these really, really beautiful long shadows again. So similar to spring. And you just get the really long shadows come through. And what I really wanted was those rays to come through at the same time. I talked a little bit in autumn, a little bit about like zooming in and finding textures. This is what I was trying to do here. I saw these, can't work out what it was, the little white buds here on the left. I'm not too clued up on what they are, but they were just really nice against all of the moss-covered branches. So I wanted that combination of white and green and showing the fact that sometimes you don't need any leaves. Like if you've got this dense view, you can get away with no leaves. Again here, no leaves, like just making the most of light and just a bare woodland. Like the amount of times I've walked here with my dog and not seen a picture, but on this one morning, the light happened to be coming through one side and the other side was in complete shadow. So it was just making the most of those conditions. Same tree, believe it or not, or same group of trees, but again, light rays. Like I love light rays. Like they're cheesy, but it's just incredible to witness. And here's that view up in Scotland again in Wintercote, no leaves. But just making the most of those lovely winter colours, and then more Critchell. Now this, I have to admit, there was one track down here where a bike had driven up. Okay, so I did Photoshop out a track because I on purpose drove the long way round because I was like, oh, it'd be nice if there's no tracks in the road. And when I got there was just one track down the middle. So annoyingly, it wasn't that clean until I got in Photoshop.
We'll let you off, Jack. We'll let you off.
Yeah, I always have to admit it. I'm like, right, I'll own up. It's too perfect, but little bit of photoshopping it worked wonders. And then on that same day that this tree at Moor Critchell, I always struggle to photograph it because the background's so difficult. But yeah, during a blizzard, it was brilliant. But I like showing this image because I always use autofocus with woodland because the cameras are so good these days. Like it's really easy to put the tiny little focus point on the tree. For this image, it was snowing so heavily, I had to go into manual focus and zoom in and just focus myself because no matter what was doing, the snow was so thick, it was just focusing on the snow itself. So yeah, be careful. Sometimes you do have to switch it to manual focus. And then one of my favorite things, if I get to witness it, which I've only done 3 times, is hoarfrost. Like, it's epic. And I've literally walked past this scene so many times that never photographed it, because it's an ugly tree normally. Like, it's just a brown blob. But when the hoarfrost clung to it, it just turned into something insane. And,
Jack, can I just ask you, did you open that gate, or did you find it open?
I opened it.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone. It had to be done. It was because the light was like perfect. I was like, it'd be lovely if the light was hitting the gate. And then just making the most of frosty mornings. Like, we don't get a lot of them. So being able to go out when it's cold is really important. And to be honest, that was one of the reasons I got like a 4x4. I was like, before then I had a rear wheel drive car and I couldn't go anywhere. So like 4 years ago, I was like, no, time to sort that out, get some winter tires, and then you can get to these locations. And this is actually taken in Wind Green. So in Wind Green itself, the clump of beech trees, it was so snowy and frozen that you could tell where the direction of the wind was coming from, because the edge of these beech trees were just covered in thick ice. And it was awesome. And I've never seen it like it before. And that's the tree from the outside. So these were taken on the same day. This was taken like probably an hour before I took the other one, before the fog had cleared, and left you with just like complete hoarfrost everywhere. And that's probably one of my favorite images that I've taken, just because of the way it looked. Like, I've never seen trees like that before this day. Wicked thing to photograph.
Yeah.
Hoarfrost again, like really lucky in Wimborne. This was actually taken on a New Year's Day. Can't remember what year it was, but I just went out for a drive and made the most of the hoarfrost. It was just so pretty. Anything from logs, and as soon as that, what ideally you're looking for in a hoarfrost is like a really foggy morning, but it's like -10, like minimum overnight. So that when that like fog clears and it warms up, it just clumps onto the trees, and ideally it just stays cold, so it just stays like clung to anything around it. And the woodlands just are insane. Mainly, like if you go up to Scotland or like Scandinavian countries, you get it a lot. That's where I've seen it most. But in the UK, I've only seen it 3 times. Been very lucky on a few occasions. And then here again, shooting straight into the sun. For this image, it was really tricky because like the white balance was hard, because it was so warm if I was shooting in like cloudy white balance. And one thing I don't like to do, we did this on the course quite a lot, is like shoot on auto white balance, because it is like the devil's work when you're dealing with woodland. Like, it will go purple and green and like do all this random things. So what I tend to do is I set a custom Kelvin for a photo like this, and I'll tend to shoot at about 5500 Kelvin, which is close to daylight, and I'll leave it there. And then I know that's quite neutral. And then when I get back home, if I want to warm it up a little bit or cool it down, I'll just move the temperature slider a little bit from there. But I tend to keep it at that point for occasions like that. And then this image I just solely put in because woodland photography is amazing inside, but sometimes if the aurora's kicking off, like it did with that sunset, you just have to get out of the woods, which I did on this occasion, and just photograph the skies. Like, skies are just epic. And with a nice foreground, a clump of tree, one tree, you can always get something very, very interesting. So to close it, because I've been going on for too long, I'm sorry. What is the big picture? And it's going to be probably quite obvious. I'll skip through them. It's this. For me, it's capturing the change of seasons. It's being able to document it over a lifetime, because this is a lifetime project for me. It might take me another 10, 20 years to do this. I want to go back and tell a story of places, whether that's in book form or at the moment it's all in talk form, like presentations, things like here. We'll be at the photography show together. We're going to do some live editing, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And it's about documenting the change of these places over the years. And I just like to show these all together because I hopefully want to inspire other people to try the same. Because no matter where you are, whether it's local or you go on a big adventure each year to the same place, try it at different times of year because they look so different and they all each have their quirks and qualities. And the sad reality is you don't know where these places are going to go. Like, look at Sycamore Tree, for instance. Like, gone. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen to these places, and every time they change, they equally become as beautiful. And yeah, I just like to show. I like to see them like this. I like triptychs as one, but I like to see how they change over the seasons, and then after a long time, I like to see them all together as a project. And I find it so rewarding, and it's one of those things that I'd recommend to absolutely everyone.
Yeah. Go on,
dude. Sorry. No, it's fine, mate. No.
I was gonna say, do you get people? Because obviously I know you sell a lot of prints, and I can imagine that people like buying a series of them changing seasons as prints. I imagine,
yeah, big time, yeah. So a lot of them will be sold. Like, a lot of people buy a group of them, and they'll like hang them on their walls as little sets, or sometimes, because I sell my prints in like these little presentation boxes, I found recently over the last year or two, a lot of people just keep them in the boxes instead of in frames. And what they do is they'll then put them on the bookshelf like books, and they'll take them out and look at them at a table each time they want to see it. So it's kind of like a presentation thing that works really, really well. And yeah, I that's the biggest compliment to me personally, is when people want to see them in print. Yeah, big time. And then I don't know why this slides in. It's probably from the last time I presented, but I've got a talk 18th of Feb about wildlife photography. Don't know why that's there, but anyway, yeah. If anyone wants to come along, like, yeah, please do come along. I think there's like 30 spaces left, I think. But
what's that? Just on your website, I would imagine.
It's on my website. Yeah, it's just about wildlife photography and kind of a venture into this whole new thing that I'm loving.
Yep.
But,
all right.
Let me skip through. That's it. Thanks so much. Yeah. No. Thanks for listening, everyone.
That's all right.
I'll stop screen sharing.
That's all right. No, and just for people who don't follow Jack yet, obviously you need to do it. And there's some details there of Jack. Jack does workshops as well. And yeah, so just all on your website, I would imagine, Jack. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I do these like seasonal workshops for like 3-4 days. And I think I've got 2 spaces left in spring, which is rare. Like, normally they're the first ones that go, but I've got 2 spaces for, I think, May. So yeah, if anyone does want to come along, they should be on my website.
Yeah. All right, cool. And just like Jack said, we're at the photography show, the School of Photography.
Yeah, buzzing. That's coming up quick.
That's coming up quick. So if you want to see Jack there, please do. If you want a discount on your tickets, you can use the code SOP26. SOP26. I don't know what the discount is. It might be 20% or something like that. But anyway, if you want that photography show tickets, you can use our code. Right, we've got a few questions, Jack. I'm going to go and grab them. I'm just going to go and grab them. And Kenny Baxter, I'm looking for. I am looking for Kenny Baxter, who asked a question about the elements. And I'll bet you any money I can't. Really Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
I was going to try and find it as well. Hey, nice.
This is not the one.
Oh, okay.
This is not the one, but I found this question, and just because while you're answering this, I can find the other one.
Yeah,
this
cool.
Is
Brilliant.
Buddy Bear. He says he's doing your course now, actually. Apologies if it's been what drew you into this field of photography, which is incredible, by the way.
Hey, thank you. What drew me into it? I think it was when I was young. Like, we went on loads of walks that at the time I probably didn't appreciate, like being outside. You're like, oh, why am I doing this? I want to go play football. And like, then you get into work and it was so full on. And I went to uni and like I hardly had any time away, that when I got outside, I was like, I want to be here and enjoy this. So I started just documenting it with a camera. And I started with street photography, believe it or not, like documentary travel. And then I started doing seascape, like go down to the coast. And then I got into woodlands because of Moor Critchell. Like, I used to drive to work and go past Moor Critchell every time. I thought, I'll go down there and see what that's like. And started taking pictures and just got hooked. And it was a slippery slope. It's dangerous, but I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, you did it right, man. I mean, like, we spoke about this before, but Jack had a full-time architectural job, didn't you, Jack? But you literally
60% of those photos in that presentation are while I was with a full-time job. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what wins. That's what wins in this industry is that
put in the hours.
Yeah, that passion and that sort of just that need to do it. And you can just see that in you actually. Right, that's all right, mate. That's from Budgie Bet. I found Kenny Baxter's. This is a good one. That's what I wanted to come to.
Nice.
Right. Kenny Baxter, how do you deal with the elements when the UK weather can be unpredictable? I noticed on a Lake District photography holiday that my lens got condensation after heavy rain. So how do you deal with the elements? I mean, obviously the winter one's there. I mean, what's your sort of...
A lot of it is chasing the conditions and just picking location on weather. So like today, for instance, was horrendous wind and rain. So we went to the coast, did a bit of seascape and didn't do any woodland, and then just went back and did processing. So sometimes conditions just don't work for it. So you got to sometimes just chase and work with them. When it comes to dealing with the elements in terms of like the rain, and like it sounds like you had a bad experience with condensation, what I tend to do is I would never change lenses in the rain. I would also, if it's really cold, I would never put my camera in a car which is really hot. So keep it in a controlled like temperature environment. Get some of those silica gel packets. Like just go on Amazon, get some of the big ones that are rechargeable, and put them in your camera bag. And for me as well, it's always worth investing in, if you can, weather sealed lenses. The sad reality is if you ever get condensation in a lens, unless you get rid of it by putting it in silica gel pads or on a radiator to dry out, you always run the risk of getting like fungus in your lens and stuff. So be really careful with your kit. And if it does get wet, just always wipe it off with a cloth. So I keep loads of microfiber cloths with me all the time, and just keep them patted down.
Yeah.
Great question. We could do a whole talk actually on like looking after kit, to be fair.
Yeah,
that's a course.
Good answer. Good question, Kenny. We've got another one here from Lisa. How much time do you spend in Lightroom or other editing programs?
I would say it could be 5 minutes or it could be 20 minutes. Like probably longest, 20 minutes probably. Like I always find that if you're editing and you feel like you're pushing it, like sometimes I've learned now just to stop. It's
not in the image, basically.
It's not in the image. The image doesn't do it, or the weather's wrong, or the conditions are wrong, or the season's wrong, and you need to go back again. So I find if you're spending too long editing to bring something out, just park it and know when to stop, and go back to that place again in better conditions. So
good.
Not too long. Not too long.
So no longer than 20 minutes. That's a good answer.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Lisa. Now I've got to find. I think this one's been answered anyway. There was a question from Richard J. Something. It's about white balance. Basically, what white balance you use. But you did answer it. But anyway,
I set a manual white balance around 5,500 Kelvin, or daylight normally, or if it's autumn, sometimes cloudy, so 6,000 Kelvin. But setting a manual white balance is really important for me, because if it's on auto, that tint section of the white balance goes all over the place. You get weird purples and weird greens. You've got to be really careful.
Yeah. All right. There is, what's this one? Oh, okay. This is a good one. The rest are coming through now. I haven't known, but this one's, I like this one. Do you edit from scratch or use presets as a base?
Oh, nice. Always scratch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sell presets, but I really don't like the idea of it, because like every image is different. So I could never use a preset. Saying that, I use a lot of the same sliders. Like I'll maybe drop my clarity a little bit. I'll lift my whites up because I like them quite bright. But I'll never use a preset for it, just because I think they're a bit of a con, to be honest. Sorry to anyone that sells them, but we don't sell them. We do give a load away, but I mean, loads of people make it. They're a great money maker, like if you're in the commercial, but not for me.
They do sell presets. Do sell a false reality, like they're going to make your pictures great.
And I think it's like if you want someone's look, they sell the preset, but like only so it can be monetized. Like I don't think it will improve the photo much. Like, I think it's good to come up with your own look, like, and if not, study other people's work, and then try and replicate it. Like, literally get a book of photos and be like, oh, I wonder how they've edited that, and have a play with sliders and see if you can match it, and then like go your own way with it, type of thing.
Yeah. Great. We're gonna end on this question because I like it.
I
When you
like it.
started photography, what was your first camera and lens?
Nice. Love that. And what was your mindset when you started pursuing? Oh, I love that. It's literally up there, actually. It's behind those hats, but a Canon 100D and the kit lens, which is like a what, 18 to 55, and a 40mm pancake lens, which one of my favorite lenses I've ever had. So yeah, little Canon 100D, loved it to bits, and I've still got it.
Do you know what? I was just going to give me an opportunity to promote us at the photography show, because you could win a Canon R100, which is the equivalent of
You're
the 100D.
joking.
Yeah,
Stop it. I did not know that.
Yeah, we've got a free prize draw, but you can only win it if you come and see us at the show. It's £3,000 worth of stuff, man. Lee filters, Canon cameras, Manfrotto tripods, ThinkTag bag, Manfrotto bag, Spider calibrate, loads of stuff. Come and see us at the show, and you could win that. Yes.
That's what started me off. Let's go.
Let's go. That's it. Listen, that was a fantastic presentation, Jack. There is loads of people saying thank you. Type it in now. There we go. There's one there.
Well, thank you all for spending the evening with me. I know how busy everyone is, so I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, really. So good. It goes on. There's loads here.
I'll have a good read through of all the comments. Thank you.
Thanks for a great session. Thank you. Anyway, it just goes on. There's loads of people there. So thanks for watching. You hang on there, Jack. That was a fantastic session. And yeah, I appreciate you spending it's an hour, just over an hour and a half. There you go. Just over an hour and a half.
We're pretty close then. We're all right.
Pretty close. And I'll see you in the next one. So I'm going to say bye. Jack's going to say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.